Good day, grade 12 students. Welcome to Mirrorwoods Academy. This is teacher Irangelic L. Tumbreza, and we'll be together for the whole semester in this core subject, Philosophy of Human Person. Do you have any idea about this subject? So what is it about life that you wonder about? Can you create a better world without good ideas? Philosophy is not only for philosophers. Remember that every person has the capacity to wonder or find the value of philosophy in his or her own life. For the first unit, we are going to focus on the discipline and methods of philosophy. Before that, here are the following general objectives that you should keep in mind. At the end of this unit, you are expected to explain why human persons ask philosophical questions. Distinguish a holistic perspective from a partial point of view. Infer the value of doing philosophy in obtaining broad perspective of life. Analyze events in daily life which appropriately use philosophy in dealing with daily experiences. Distinguish opinion from truth. Realize that the methods of philosophy lead to wisdom and truth. And lastly, evaluate opinions as an attempt at doing philosophy. Proceed. Understanding reality in a bigger picture. This chapter will acquaint you with some basic philosophical concepts and help you identify philosophical questions that are personally meaningful to you. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to distinguish holistic perspective from a partial point of view. Recognize philosophical questions. Explain why human persons ask philosophical questions. So what is philosophy? Discovering philosophical reflection. To reflect philosophically is to think about an important question that does not have a definite or ready answer. We are puzzled mostly about things we cannot fully understand. Perhaps you already ask yourselves, why am I here? Or what is the purpose of my existence? Sometimes, we think we have found the answer, only to find ourselves asking the same question again. The thing is, no amount of research would be able to provide a definite answer to these questions. When we ponder on philosophical question, we are engaged in a philosophical reflection. Philosophy allows us the freedom to ask even those questions that others believe to already have a definite answer. Philosophy does not dictate conclusive answers to philosophical questions. For instance, what is love? Love is not something that can be exhausted with definition. A philosophical question always contains a bigger problem. For example, why am I here for? Which expresses a search for meaning. Why is love complicated? Why do people have to die? The person who is asking these questions is actually concerned with human existence. Therefore, such questions are all-encompassing. The search for answers only begins the moment we ask a philosophical question. We have here the two natures of philosophical question, the universal and the particular. In philosophy, universal pertains to the whole, while particular refers to the part of the whole. The universal and the particular questions are concerned with valid arguments and propositions. However, they are dealt with in a different way. Why am I here? Do you think this question is universal or particular? It is a specific question, and so particular. However, it involves many other questions. If interpreted as a question of purpose for existing, then we will have to include the aspect of who determines our purpose. Philosophical questions are separate from experiences. Thus, to philosophize is to look at life from holistic perspective. According to Heidegger 2002, philosophy is different from science. Do you agree with him? In his work on the essence of human person, he stated that a scientific question is always confined to particular, whereas philosophical question, which is considered as universal, leads into the totality of beings and inquiries into the whole. After a philosophical question is raised, how does one proceed in finding an answer? Remember that Every person who engages in philosophical reflection must recognize that possible answers to philosophical questions require adequate justification and rational basis. Answers that sound right or seem right will not simply do. Philosophers have taught that we can be misled if we are not careful. There are numerous sources we go for answers, such as books, teachers, parents, internet, television, and others. But philosophical questions, as earlier said, do not have ready or definite answers. Plato warned as early as 360 BCE that there were things that deceive, confuse, or mislead in this world. He said that to know what is real requires much intellectual effort and rational ability. Moreover, a person is responsible for the answers he or she holds on to. This means that we are to blame in case we are fooled into believing a falsehood. So how do we guard against deceptions? So here's Aristotle, who described humans as rational animals. God gifted us with intellect or faculty of reason to figure things out on our own. This allows us to pursue our questions so we can come nearer to the truth. Remember that it is the best tool we have that enables us to deal with questions. Now let's proceed to truth and dialectics. By the way, what is dialectic? Dialectic is an art of refutation that dates back to ancient Greeks. It is a technique to resolve philosophical questions, and it uses dialogues to examine truth claims. Philosophical discovery is seen as the result of collaboration with partners in dialogue or conversation. Errors of a claim are demonstrated using rational abilities, for example, defending. Socrates is most noteworthy in his use of dialectics. His series of questioning and answering was effective in drawing out underlying assumptions. A claim requires evidences and logical argument to be regarded as true. The dialectics of the ancients later developed in the modern era into thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. The confrontation between the differing positions, or the thesis and antithesis, culminates to a synthesis that is a resolution of opposing views. Interplay of opposing views is necessary for progress. We need to exchange ideas so we can grow. Two of the German philosophers proposed that there is a dialectical pattern even in history as reflected in resolutions of contradictions through time. George Hegel belongs to the period in philosophy known as German idealism, which shared Plato's view that ideas are real as opposed to matter. Hegel's first major work, known as the Phenomenology of Spirit, is linked to historical progress. The other German philosopher is Karl Marx. He introduced the concept of historical materialism, which embodies his theory that societies rise and fall as a result of class struggles. Truth and dialectics, views are revised as we experience turning points in history. Dialectic is indispensable since it leads us closer to truth. We are challenged to think about a philosophical question rigorously. Aside from those, debating amiably with someone allows us to discover many things, to hold into beliefs we can defend, and to remain open-minded with others' views. That ends our lesson for today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me at moy.ytimbreza@gmail.com. For additional references and information, you may also access our mobile web at frontlearners.ph/mwa.